The Unseen Spectre. The woods behind my childhood home held a sinister secret, a shadow that lurked among the trees, an entity that defied the natural order. As a child, the forest was my playground, but the ominous presence that dwelled within would turn the familiar trees into a haunting labyrinth. It started innocently enough. I would catch glimpses of a fleeting silhouette among the dense foliage, its form twisting and contorting in ways that defied logic. My friends dismissed it as the product of an overactive imagination, but I knew better. The shadow in the woods was real, and its presence seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an otherworldly glow on the forest, the shadow would emerge. It seemed to dance among the trees, a malevolent spectre that defied the laws of the natural world. My attempts to share my eerie encounters were met with skepticism, as if the forest had cast a spell of disbelief upon those who dared to enter. One moonlit night, curiosity overcame fear. Armed with nothing but a flashlight, I ventured into the woods to confront the enigmatic shadow. The air grew heavy as I ventured deeper, the familiar sounds of the night drowned out by an unsettling stillness. The trees seemed to close in, their branches forming grotesque figures that mimicked the elusive silhouette. I stumbled upon an ancient clearing, the moon casting an eerie glow on the gnarled roots that covered the forest floor, like skeletal fingers. It was there that the shadow manifested into something more tangible. A figure, draped in darkness, stood at the center of the clearing, its eyes, hollow voids that seemed to absorb the feeble light, fixated on me. As I tried to retreat, an unseen force held me in place. The shadow extended its form, tendrils of darkness intertwining with the roots beneath. Whispers echoed through the air, the indistinct murmurs of a forgotten language that sent a shiver down my spine. I realized that the forest itself was alive with a malevolence that transcended the natural order. The shadow in the woods spoke, not in words, but in emotions that resonated with the deepest recesses of my consciousness. It conveyed a sense of ancient sorrow, a lamentation that echoed through the ages. I felt the weight of untold tales, the stories of those who had encountered the spectral entity and succumbed to the shadows. Desperation set in as I sought to break free from the unseen force that bound me. The shadow's form undulated, merging with the darkness that surrounded it. The forest itself seemed to breathe, each exhalation carrying the echoes of forgotten souls. The malevolence, once confined to the shadows, now seeped into the very fabric of the woods. In a final act of defiance, I uttered a prayer, a plea for release from the grasp of the unseen spectre. The shadows recoiled, the tendrils retracting from the roots. The figure in the clearing dissipated into the night, leaving behind a lingering sense of emptiness. I stumbled back to the edge of the woods, the moonlight guiding my way. The forest, once a playground of innocence, had transformed into a realm of malevolent forces. The shadow, now a distant memory, had left an indelible mark on the woods, a reminder that some entities linger in the shadows, waiting for those who dare to peer into the unknown. The woods, once a source of wonder, became a haunted labyrinth, its secrets known only to those who had encountered the unseen spectre among the trees. Whispers in the shadows. The dense woods behind my new home beckoned with an eerie allure, their gnarled branches forming a sinister silhouette against the dimming twilight. Intrigued yet unnerved, I ventured into the heart of the forest, unaware that the shadows concealed a malevolence beyond my imagination. As I wandered deeper, the air thickened with an oppressive stillness. The rustling leaves seemed to murmur ancient secrets, and the trees twisted into grotesque shapes, that loomed like spectral sentinels, an unsettling feeling crept over me, as if unseen eyes followed my every step. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows that danced at the periphery of my vision. A peculiar darkness clung to the woods, a shadow that moved independently of the fading daylight. I dismissed it as a trick of the imagination, but the disquieting feeling persisted. As night fell, the woods transformed into an abyss of uncertainty. The moonlight filtered through the twisted branches, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to magnify the shadows. It was then that I caught a glimpse of it, a silhouette darker than the night itself, moving among the trees with a sinister purpose. My heart quickened as I tried to dismiss the shadow as a figment of paranoia, but it persisted, weaving through the darkness with a silent malevolence. Panic seized me, and I quickened my pace. The forest now a labyrinth of gnarled branches and looming shadows. The echo of my footsteps seemed to be answered by an unseen presence. Whispers mingled with the rustling leaves. Indistinct words that teased the edges of my consciousness. The shadow, once a distant silhouette, drew closer, its form shifting like a wraith among the twisted trees. I stumbled over roots and fallen branches, the oppressive stillness broken only by the haunting whispers that seemed to emanate from the very shadows themselves. Driven by an instinctual fear, I veered off the path, hoping to lose the shadow among the labyrinthine trees. The forest, however, seemed to close in, the trees becoming a claustrophobic maze that mirrored the entanglement of fear in my mind. The whispers grew louder, their words now forming a chilling chant that reverberated through the wooded expanse. With each step, the shadow gained substance, its form coalescing into an indistinct figure. Dread hung heavy in the air as I stumbled upon an ancient clearing, the moonlight casting a ghastly glow on the twisted branches that encircled it. The whispers escalated into anguished cries, and the shadow, now a tangible presence, emerged from the darkness. As it drew closer, the moonlight revealed its features, a faceless void that seemed to absorb the feeble light around it. The whispers took on a mournful cadence, recounting tales of lost souls and forgotten tragedies. The shadow, a harbinger of spectral tales, reached out with insubstantial fingers, its touch sending shivers down my spine. Desperation seized me as I realized I was entangled in a supernatural dance with the shadow in the woods. The whispers formed into an ominous prophecy, a tale of darkness that transcended the boundaries of the living. The shadow, an ancient entity that thrived on the fear it invoked, seemed to feed on the tendrils of dread that coiled around my soul. In a final act of defiance, I uttered words of courage, a plea for release from the spectral grasp. The shadow recoiled, the whispers dissolving into the wind. The moonlight reclaimed its dominion over the forest, and the oppressive stillness lifted. The shadow, once a tangible presence, vanished into the depths of the woods. As I emerged from the haunted forest, the moonlit clearing behind me seemed like a distant memory. The woods, now silent and still, held no trace of the shadow that had haunted my every step, yet the echoes of the chilling whispers lingered, a haunting reminder of the spectral encounter in the heart of the twisted woods. The lurking silhouette. Deep in the heart of the dense woods, where the shadows danced with an eerie grace, I embarked on a solitary camping trip, seeking solace in nature's embrace. Little did I know that the looming darkness harbored a malevolent force and entity that would cast a chilling veil over the tranquility of the forest. As night fell, the woods transformed into an abyss of inky blackness. The rustling leaves and distant hoots of nocturnal creatures created a symphony that echoed through the trees. I set up my campsite, the flickering fire offering a feeble glow against the encroaching darkness. A sense of unease settled in. As I gazed into the impenetrable woods, the shadows seemed to thicken, coalescing into a lurking silhouette that lingered at the edge of the firelight. An unsettling stillness enveloped the forest, and the air became charged with an otherworldly energy. As I stoked the fire, the silhouette in the woods seemed to move, a spectral figure that slinked through the shadows with an unnatural grace. Its form, an indistinct mass, remained just beyond the reach of the firelight, shrouded in a veil of darkness that defied the natural order. Compelled by a morbid curiosity, I ventured into the woods, my footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of fallen leaves. The lurking silhouette remained just out of reach, a ghostly presence that seemed to anticipate my every move. The air, once filled with the sounds of the nocturnal forest, now vibrated with an otherworldly hum. As I approached, the silhouette took on a humanoid shape, a figure draped in tattered garments that seemed to absorb the moonlight. Its eyes, hollow and vacant, bore into mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. The forest seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the unfolding of a malevolent dance between the living and the spectral. A voice, carried by the wind, reached my ears, a whisper laden with the weight of forgotten sorrows. The figure spoke of a cursed existence, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. The shadows, it claimed, were its sanctuary, a realm where the echoes of past transgressions lingered. As the chilling revelation unfolded, the woods seemed to close in, the towering trees becoming distorted spectres that reached out like skeletal fingers. The lurking silhouette gestured toward an ancient oak, a gnarled tree that bore witness to centuries of untold stories. It beckoned me to unveil the secrets hidden within the heart of the forest. The air grew thick with an ominous energy. As I approached the ancient oak, the haunting whispers intensified, forming a symphony of anguished voices that reverberated through the woods. Shadows twisted and contorted, taking on grotesque forms that danced in the moonlight. In the hollow of the ancient oak, a portal to the spectral realm revealed itself. The lurking silhouette merged with the shadows, becoming an indistinct part of the encroaching darkness. The air pulsed with an otherworldly resonance, as the whispers guided me toward the abyss, the threshold between the known and the supernatural. As I stood on the brink of the spectral abyss, the forest seemed to hold its breath once more. The lurking silhouette, now an ethereal spectre, reached out from the shadows, its hollow eyes conveying a silent plea for release. In a moment of chilling realization, I understood the malevolent force that haunted the woods. The lurking silhouette was a trapped soul, forever condemned to roam the shadows in search of redemption. The forest, once a haven of tranquility, became a realm where the boundaries between the living and the spectral blurred, and the shadows whispered the tragic tale of the entity that lingered, a haunting presence forever trapped in the depths of the woods.